Nairobi, the capital city of one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. But in the wake of uncontrolled urbanization, many residents here could slowly be choking to death.
From the knowledge we have and from previous measurements, we are talking of some 2001. It was better, probably 10 times better than today. Conclusively, the air pollution in Nairobi is very bad and it continues to be bad.
The standards of the air quality within our urban centers, not just Nairobi, are deteriorating almost conversely in relation to the rate of industrialization and urbanization.
That smoke is very dangerous. Leave alone the smoke you see, the blackness you see. What is contained in there is worse, and it remains in the air for a longer time. Right? The darkness goes because they are particles, so they either get together or they fall down, but they are smaller particles than what you see, which remain in the air. Even black ones, they remain in the air, and that is what goes into your noses.
Ruth Njeri lives close to a road and near the Dandora dump site. She has become a regular visitor to hospital. But unknown to her, the air around her could be the cause of her two daughters' frequent sicknesses.
Hiyo tingatinga inakuja inatoanisha takataka, kunanuka vibaya sana. Ningekuwa uwezo yangu ningehama niende pale pengine.
Children that are persistently coughing, and even if you give treatment, you have to be sure that maybe after 1 month, you're sure they will be back for retreatment.
In very small amounts, you don't notice it. But imagine that over your lifetime, you breathe the same air, which has got a lot of pollution in it. Our bodies actually accumulate that pollution. We don't get rid of it. So this accumulation in our organs, in our liver, in our lungs, means that after maybe 10, 20 years, it would be as if you'd smoked all of your life. So it has a genuine danger, but it is an invisible danger.
In fact, in Kenya, the air quality impact on health leads to around 14,000 premature deaths every year. But this is so hidden and quiet that we are not giving it the attention that it deserves.
Could this be the reason for rising cancer ailments and other diseases in Kenya?
Probably, majority of the cases we have in Nairobi or in Kenya have a source they are sourced from the air pollution. And incidentally, some of the particles are known to be cancer causing.
It's a very sad story, which is that heavy metals, lead, mercury, and so forth, when the baby in the womb is exposed, it actually reduces the IQ by sometimes as much as 10%.
When these particles get into your system, when you breathe, they go all the way inside. You know, your body, for you to be healthy, you need the air goes into your body, oxygen is extracted, and when it goes into your system, as it does its work there, it becomes carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide comes out as you breathe out. Now, what happens is that is interfered with, because that process is only okay if there is no contamination of the air you are breathing in. You are breathing normal air, which is well known. Now, the that means they will interfere. They are likely to damage the organs deep in your lungs. The last organs where that exchange happens, they are small ones, skins, is likely to be damaged.
And it's not just during the day or on roads, even while in your own house.
But there are times you wake up in Nairobi and feel the air is heavy and you are tired, young as you are. Imagine somebody who has asthma, a small child who is trying to grow, exposed into that short time. The reason is weather systems in Nairobi also, there is sometimes they enclose all the air pollutants near the ground because of what we call inversion. So at night when you are asleep, thinking you are comfortable.
According to Professor Gattari, Vehicle fumes, visible or invisible, can stay in the air for over a week, depending on the weather conditions.
For you, when you are inside, you are consuming what is already emitted by others indirectly, because even if you close the windows, air is air, it will still get their way. But certainly, some of the particles will not come in if you close yourself. But then if you are closed yourself, you are uncomfortable. So you still, long hours on the roads, in Nairobi, in long traffic jams, you still have a share to take.
Petrol-filled motor vehicles are the principal sources of these gases, where diesel-fueled engines emit significant quantities of particulates. Increasingly, these pollutants are finding their way into previously secure homes in Nairobi and elsewhere. Vehicle emissions, and especially vehicle exhumed fumes, kill more people than road accidents.
You need to make fuel in a way that is affordable and yet doesn't leave the pollutant signature all over. Now, one way to do that is to move towards electric vehicles, and public transport, even buses, could become the transportation of the future by making them electric vehicles. We have sufficient solar power here.
No conclusive studies on the exact cost of money lost have been conducted in Kenya. But in China and India, an estimated $3.5 trillion a year is lost in terms of the value of lost lives. Without government action to limit vehicle emissions, the cost will rise in the coming years.
We can calculate that it would save on average $250,000 per person of avoided costs. So imagine multiplying that times the population of Kenya.
As incomes rise, there are more trucks and more cars on the road every day. And with a lot more people streaming into towns, how can we safeguard our cities? The National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, which should be taking control of these emissions, says it's unable to act against pollutants in many cases due to loopholes in the law.
Now there is also the issue of synergies in intelligence sharing, synergies in enforcement actions. Case in point, for example, why should a different government agency with intelligence sources or enforcement capacities pass by an infringement of the law just because it's not entirely within their mandate?
It has to be such that if you're, in a sense, caught with fuel that is mixed, that there are penalties to pay.
And education is also critical. And the media should not try to set the people on the streets, because it's not a two-day business. It will take time, and also, but our policymakers have to accept there is something very wrong in Nairobi.
Violet Otindo, K24.